Parshat Vayakel Kudei, Parshat HaChodesh, 5781. Yiratzon Alimud, Shabela Refuat Kol HaCholim, V'tocham Tanya Batod Magalit, Yosef Yair Ben Aviv Achava, Harav Sivan Ben Sima, V'to Kol Shah Cholei Israel. And after 13 years of Oritani being born on Kavav Adar, to be Zoche for his Bar Mitzvah Parsha this week. So we know that Vayakel Kudei is dealing with the actual building of the Mishkan. And according to the Ramban, the Mishkan was a tikkun for Ma'amad Har Sinai. And so Ma'amad Har Sinai things failed, and they were fixed in the Mishkan. And so the first question is, how is the Mishkan fixing the brokenness of Ma'amad Har Sinai? And the second question is that Parshat HaChodesh, we read Shemot Perek Yud Bet, and the main word emphasized is bait. Sel habayit, sel ish beit avot. And we'll look there, we'll see that the word bait 7 times. It's very, very emphasized that in the story of the redemption, we're locked in our homes. And the question is, why is that so essential? And I think that both these questions can connect together to one idea. So when we go back to Chet HaEgel, there's a beautiful, beautiful Rashi that describes that in the second time that Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to get the Luchot, it says in the Pasuk, V'ish lo ya'aleh imach, no one could go up with you. Says Rashi, miraculously, Harishonot, the first Luchot, al yedei shayu b'tshuot, that they were with noise, the brakim, the lightning, the ra'amim, the shofar, chazek ma'od, shayu b'tshuot, v'kolot, v'kala, with noise, and in public, shalta ben ayin hara. It ended up failing. Ein lecha midah yafa min hatzniut. There is nothing greater, nothing more big than just being there alone with Hashem. And so if we look at Chet HaEgel, what caused the destruction according to this Rashi is that it was so revealed, it was so loud, it was so big, it was so announced. And maybe Hashem was showing us that we might have thought that this was the climax, but this was the problem. We sometimes think that the louder we sing, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Anachnu Ohavim Otcha, we yell out loud, Hashem, we love you. Says Moreinu Rabbeinu Rav Re'em, that's exactly the problem. That real love, true love, is not measured in noise. It's not measured in quantity. It's not measured in kolot ubrakim. That's what we think, but that's exactly the problem. Because the bigger it is, the more irrelevant it is. The louder it is, the more short-term it is. And therefore, when Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Mitaken, he goes alone, quietly. Very, very personal, internal, quality. And that is the beginning of the fixing of what we didn't realize to be the problem that caused our failure. And that's the Mishkan. The Mishkan is exactly Ma'amad Har Sinai, says the Ramban. There's one difference. It's Bini Star. That it's gradual. It's detail-oriented. You go from A to B to C. Some people can go here, some people go there, some people go there. And when you get into Kodesh Kodeshim, it's so small. It's so quiet. And that's the tikkun of Ma'amad Har Sinai. Teaching us that really if we want things to last, if we want things to be built, if we want things to continue, if we want things to be relevant, we have to translate them into details. We have to reveal them quietly, with harmony, and not think that the louder it is, the better it is. The more revealed it is, the more clear it is. The opposite. The more hidden, the more quiet, the more it's strong, the more it's real. 13 years ago when Hashem chose this Parsha for Oretani, I think that me, Tanya, Adiel, and Roni could obviously testify that Mayim shketim chodrim amok. Quiet waters go deeper and deeper. And it's something that's very, very evident with Oretani, that he has so much to say, but he doesn't say it out loud. He doesn't scream it. He whispers it. And that whisper is like the Kodesh Kodeshim. That whisper is like the tikkun of what we used to think, the louder it is, the better it is. Says Oretani, sometimes the more real it is, the more you could see it in someone's face, and they don't even have to say it. And so, when we go into Parshat HaChodesh, it's the same concept of our redemption. When we leave Egypt, you would think, go out into the streets, celebrate redemption, yell on the top of your lungs. We all know the scene when Andy Dufresne leaves slavery after 19 years, that he picks up his hands and yells on the top of his lungs. And we would think, obviously, 210 years after the Jewish people left Egypt, they would yell and they would scream and they would celebrate and make barbecues. Hashem says, lock yourselves in your homes. Realize that what's going to make it last is not the ability to reveal it in the public domain, but to make your home so full with the redemption that it doesn't need to be announced. It's the same concept. That the real redemption is celebrated in our core family. It's celebrated locked up in our homes, because that's the message back to Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim revealed everything, and it went really, really high, and it exploded, and it didn't last. And we lock ourselves in a little house, and in that home we celebrate our redemption, announcing to the world that the only way for the future to be better is if it can come back into the mundane of life, into the reality of life, into the quiet areas of life. And those are the eternal relationships that we're searching for. And our bracha, obviously, going into this Shabbat, but specifically for Oretani, is that we know that we are so excited for this bar mitzvah. And we know that his Abba sometimes is very, very loud. And sometimes he'll scream and yell and, do all these things that, pour water in different places. But the friendship that Baruch Hashem I built with Oretani is to know that on the one-on-ones, walking on Shabbat night together, Oretani will teach me the beauty of harmony, of mayim shketim, of waters that are just so pure that they don't need to make so much sound. And that should help Oretani lead Am Yisrael. It should help him enjoy Am Yisrael. And it should help him recognize that he can do things in such a way that Kodesh Kodeshim did for all of Am Yisrael, Bezrat Hashem.